When I tell you this story still keeps me awake some nights, I'm not exaggerating. What HOA Karen did to my little girl went beyond petty neighborhood drama. It was criminal. We had recently moved into our lakeside ranch, away from the city, so my daughter could grow up around nature instead of concrete. She's only 7, bright, curious, and always carrying her little pink backpack filled with toys and snacks. We thought she'd be safe here, but then came Karen. Karen was the self-proclaimed enforcer of the HOA, even though our property wasn't part of it. She had a problem with everything. My truck being too loud, my daughter riding her bike down the gravel road, even the sound of our dog barking at squirrels. But nothing prepared us for the day she crossed the line. It started when my daughter wanted to help me load some fishing gear into the SUV. She was excited, chattering about catching a monster catfish. Karen appeared on her driveway, glaring. "Children aren't allowed to play in the street," she snapped. I shook my head. "This isn't HOA property, Karen." "She's fine." Karen muttered something about rules are rules, then stormed off. I thought it was over until I realized my daughter was gone. Panic doesn't even begin to describe what I felt. I ran around the property yelling her name, my stomach in knots. Then I heard muffled crying from inside a car. Karen's car. I yanked the trunk open, and there she was. My little girl, red-faced and terrified, curled up among grocery bags. She had been locked in there for hours under the blazing sun. I grabbed her, holding her as she sobbed into my shoulder, the sight of her sweaty hair plastered to her forehead, her tiny fists clutching my shirt. It's burned into my memory. "What the hell is wrong with you?" I roared at Karen, who stood on her porch smirking. "She needs to learn respect," Karen said coldly. "Children don't get to run wild here." That was it. I called the sheriff immediately. Within minutes, deputies were on the scene. Karen tried to spin her story, claiming my daughter had climbed in there herself. But the bruises on the trunk latch and my daughter's terrified testimony told the truth. The deputies didn't hesitate. Karen was arrested for unlawful restraint, child endangerment, and kidnapping. Watching her get cuffed and shoved into the back of a patrol car was the only thing that kept me from completely losing it. The HOA tried to defend her at first, saying she was just enforcing rules. But when the story hit local news, HOA woman locks child in trunk for 9 hours. The community turned on her fast. Her house went up for sale a month later, and no one shed a tear when she left. As for us, my daughter is safe, though it took a while for her to sleep without nightmares. I promised her that day I'd never let anyone hurt her again. And Karen? She's still facing charges. Last I heard, her lawyer is begging for a plea deal. Some people call these HOA disputes silly drama. But when you lock a child in a trunk, it stops being drama. It becomes a crime. And I made damn sure Karen will pay for every second my little girl spent in that dark, stifling trunk.